Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to our second Learning Expert interview. I am joined today with Janet Featherstone. Janet is the director of Integrate, which is a coaching practice based out of Johannesburg, and Janet is also involved in consulting of different types to big corporate organizations in South Africa. A very warm welcome, Janet.
Thank you, Oliver.
I prepared a few questions to guide our discussion, and my first question is around the notion of importance. So, can you give us a very brief overview of what action learning is all about, and how might this be an important learning process?
Thanks, Oliver. And I think it's really important to introduce the concept of action learning, because I do think that there is some mis and maybe even disinformation out there. And action learning is such a beautiful process because what it does is it enables an organization to solve a real live business problem that doesn't have a solution necessarily available within the organizational structures. So action learning isn't a project implementation process, right? Because that has a known outcome that the organization's seeking. Action learning is absolutely magnificent when you're solving highly complex problems, which we face in a VUCA world. So things like, and where action learning actually has been applied, is how do you solve, for example, safety in a mining context, right? Where people know what they should do, but sometimes do not. And that's really where the complexity and the beauty of action learning comes in. But what really makes action learning so different and takes it to another level is that in parallel to solving a complex business problem, you are undertaking leadership development. And that kind of parallel path of root cause solving a problem and really developing leaders to the highest quality through that action learning process is, I think, what makes action learning absolutely essential and exceptional.
Thank you very much, Janet. I think the focus on learning, especially given COVID-19 and our transformation and our movement towards remote learning and online learning, is making learning practical. So in your experience with running action learning projects, for example, have these been successfully run online, remotely, and what has been the result of that?
So I think the beauty is when the need is there, the solutions are created in tandem, right? So if you look at, for example, the acceleration in platforms like Zoom and others, they've just enabled the most incredible online facilitation. And when you couple those with tools like, and the one I'm most familiar with is Miro, but there are many others, they allow for the most extraordinary online collaboration. So there's an opportunity not only when you together, not in person, but virtually, to collaborate on a whiteboard, which is a powerful kind of brainstorming idea and a way for you to track the progress that you're making. There's also an opportunity for you to go separately when an idea kind of strikes, and even for external stakeholders to come onto a board like a Miro board and give their 10 cents worth. So you can literally be building that classic saying, building the airplane as you're flying it. But on a Miro board, you can actually see it take shape. And the tools for online collaboration now are extraordinary.
Absolutely fascinating, fascinating insights there. My last question for you is really around action learning as a process and whether action learning can stand on its own as a learning process, or is it best used, integrated into a broader corporate learning process or into a broader leadership development program?
I'm going to give you that classic, it can be both. If you're looking to augment an action learning process with kind of a learning piece, you can absolutely make that work. And you can thread that learning into the project that the delegates are working on. But equally, because action learning in and of itself facilitates leadership development and enables that through its very design and the feedback that delegates get from each other in terms of peer learning, peer feedback, and experiential learning, which I think is what makes action learning so powerful. I really believe it's an either or. It doesn't need to be one or the other. It could be both, or it could be a standalone process.
For our viewers watching, please feel free to follow us on LinkedIn and also post a question in the LinkedIn chat or the thread, which will allow us to respond to that question that you might have about action learning. Thank you very much.